Rahogmir, Punch Out Boxing here with Johnny Clark. You made another statement, concluding statement two. You can just run through the card. We had some novices, Toomey looking polished, Lily going from strength to strength. Don't know about you, I was worried when I saw the size of her opponent. And the tournament, what about that? But yeah, starting with, let's go for Lily.
Lily, yeah, ticks all the boxes, doesn't she? And listen, it was a tough opponent. Like her boxing record may not be the greatest, but she's K1, MMA. She's got a bit of everything behind her, and it was a great step up. I don't think many people have done that to her. She was a bloody mess. Listen, she's a fan favourite as well, and it's because she's real. She is what it is. She's real. And sports Tottenham, and she wore West Ham colours, so that made me smile even more.
Yeah, she's a local girl to me. Lives just down the road, and yeah, obviously I was high on her. Now that she's wore the Hammers kit, I might have to go. Might have to find a new favourite girl. What about that German guy you got in Kakandi? None of us knew anything about him. Gave Mohis serious trouble.
Listen, the best thing about that fight, right? So Kakandi's been over sparring Ursu, just as a sparring partner. Flown over, sponsored up, looked after, treated him well. And I said to him, I've had a pull out. Kevin Ravel's not very well. He's got a cyst as well. Are you heavy at the minute? Because you're normally a welterweight. And he went, no, what weight? I said, middleweight, 162 roughly. And he said, yes, straight away. And I said, listen, there's no money in it. I didn't pay him, right? There's no money in it. You're just going to have to fight, and it's going to be on DAZN. That's your treat, And he was like, yes, I'll take it. I said, you're going to be here anyway, I'm glad he was fighting because I've heard him talking and he don't stop as well. Do you know what I mean? So I'm glad he was in the ring and not sat next to me watching. But I was so shocked. Like, I know he was fighting a bit heavy, so I think he might have stopped. There's a little barrage of punches. I think he would have stopped anyone his own weight with them, if I'm being honest. But Hadji was great as well. 3-3, weren't it? So what a great fight. There was no wages on either of that fight. No one got paid. No one paid me. Hadji's opponent pulled out. I said, look, I can get you Kakande. There's a 50-50 there. You just fight each other, but I'll do you a favour and I'll put it on DAZN. It could have, when there's no fans, you normally put it on first, don't you? Get them out of the way, and then, not with me, I put the level of fights on the card. Obviously sometimes like Lily, she might be fighting a journeywoman, I'll put her up. But for me, it's more about the level of fights. I can't put on DAZN like a one-side bashing with someone running around the ring. I want to put on a great show. And that, for me, was a great start.
Fascinating. Professional fighters fighting for free. In fact, did they probably lose money if you factor in their training camp?
Yeah, well, definitely, 100%. Well, obviously Kakande was over here paid to spar, so he was all right. And obviously Hadji, listen, the fight wasn't even cleared to Thursday morning, right? Kakande was from Germany, but he's from Uganda in Germany. Then we had to do UK bloods, and his scan in Germany was out of date. It's okay for German boxers 3 years, but in UK it has to be every year. So I had to get him a scan. I got him a scan Tuesday morning. Rang Vista like, come on, we need the results, blah, blah, blah. And they said, it's going to take a week. I said, no, it's fighting on Saturday. You told me. And the paperwork has to be in Thursday afternoon. So I chased them using every skill I could to get that over the line. And listen, it come in last minute and he actually got past. And I just said to him before he went, I said, you were worth the headache. You've been beaten up by Ursu, pillar to post, all for 6 weeks, on 3 weeks, sorry. And at the end of it, you've got a fight on DAZN. You probably got a fight tonight, mate. Well done,
Well, hopefully he's going to get more opportunities, if not with yourself. But, like you said, he was in the shop window at DAZN. And, hey, there might be a few middleweight prospects that think they need a test. He's a decent guy. Or, well, you said he's welterweight.
Yeah, that's what I mean. He's welterweight and obviously qualifies for a silver Commonwealth. There's a lot of things he could do, And my main thing was that he don't lose today, and then I could do something with him on one of my next shows, because that's what he wants. He wants to come over. He wants to be with Marley and the boys and that around Ursu, because it's world class. So he wants to be around that, and to be around that, he's got to win, hasn't he? And he said, there's a chance? I said, yeah, there's a chance. There's always going to be a chance. Anyone comes to fight, there's a chance to be on John's show.
Indeed. Oh, and that segues nicely into Ursu, your man. He's as you've said for a while, he is too good for this level. but it's just getting him up to that next level. Can that be next? The full Commonwealth or British?
Yeah, 100%. That was the final eliminator. Obviously, if it's on my show, we'll try for it. I'll put in bids and whatnot. But listen, I'll be outbid by the big boys. Like, these shows lose money anyway, but to lose that much money is ridiculous, you know. But for me, it's about putting him in a position where he can't be avoided. You know, all these 50-50 fights before, he was being avoided. The Silver Commonwealths, the Southern areas, he was paid to, like, not paid, sorry, he relinquished the belts. So now it's about who's got the title? Harry Starr. Fair enough. Like, we'll fight him. Simple as that. Lovely team. They're my friends and whatnot, but it's the boxing business and we want them titles. So release one of them and keep the other one, that's fine. We'll fight for the Commonwealth. You know, we'll do that in the next fight. No problem with that. You know, like the reason it was a final eliminator for the Commonwealth, the reason that we pushed for the British as well, because we wanted two avenues. You know, we know like there's a fight in January for them belts. We know the winner can just release one of them and rest. You know, not have to worry about the Moldovan monster coming to rip them apart. And that's why we went and made them both for this belt. You know what I mean?
I mean, Scarf is stylistically one of the hardest guys to beat in the country. How do you think Constantine does against him and actually the whole of the top of the UK welterweight scene? Is there anyone you'd be worried about putting him in with?
No. Conor Ben, maybe, in the UK. That would be it. They'll go in with anyone. But obviously, sometimes you've got to put the brakes on. So let's do the traditional route. Harry Scarf, I think we beat him on points. I don't think we stop him, but I know he beats him. I'm not nervous about the fight. I'm a fan of Harry as well, obviously, with the Let's Go connection. But what a fight to have. You know, maybe do it in Derby. If they want it, we'll go up there. We're happy to go in the away corner. If not, they can come down here, you know. But realistically and ideally, probably the belt gets the Commonwealth I can see being released and the British being kept. If I was anyone's manager, I think that's the route I'd keep. You know what I mean? And or move on for the European and release them both. You know what I mean? But either way, that's what we're in next. So who knows what happens from here? I don't like waiting around. So Ursu's not on the February show, but it's going to be at March. And yeah, who knows what can happen to them? They're fighting in January, and if he's getting a bit stale, you know what I mean, then he's 100% fighting on March. We'll get him 50-50. I'll probably have to pay someone a lot of money to come in, but I'll keep him active until we get that belt. That's my job now.
Yeah, well, as long as he doesn't fall by the wayside, as you know, given how many talents do, simply because of the money factor. What about that tournament, though, culminating in that 5 knockdown pandemonium between John Marvin making his debut and your mate Ozzy, who once again shows his mental strength. Come back from a defeat and has actually got better.
Yeah, he's got a better record than when he started the show. That's what you want from anyone that you know and like. And for me, just a real man, isn't he? He's just a man, you know, like, he don't talk great. Like, they ask him question in the interview, yeah, I just want to fight, I'm just going to try and win, I'm just going to hit him more than he hits me. You know, he's not media trained, he's just raw, he's real, he's a family man, his family's always here watching him, supporting him, they're always at the media days, he just turns up, does his thing, you know what I mean? Like, he don't even... I think he stopped work now for this one and the one previous because he got some sponsors on board. But this is what I mean. Like, if you stay active, win, lose or draw, you get more sponsors, you get more ticket sales. Like, you've done the best out of all the boys in the tournament on the ticket sales as well. Just be active, win, lose or draw, have a good night, keep some memories. It doesn't matter if you lose, you can still come back. You know, all the losers, I went in their change rooms tonight. I don't go in the winners. What's the point? Everyone's in there. I just go in the losers. I speak to them and say, listen, you're always welcome back. Thank you for how you conducted yourself, doing your media, doing your tickets, doing the weight, and give me a great fight. I respect you all, even Booth. You know, me and Booth, we shook hands, and who knows what's next for him. But if I do a little show like I need a welcome, yeah, he's welcome on.
How far can Ozzy go? Because yeah, I mean, yeah, I know he didn't have a great amateur pedigree, but John Marvin did, and he came out on top. As you said, he's a real fighting guy, and you know, but he's more than just a tough guy who tries hard. I mean, he's actually getting better still, fight by fight.
Yeah, he is improving, but I do have to say I think he is a tough guy that tries hard. If you don't try hard, You know what I mean? What's the saying? Hard work beats talent when talent don't work. And I'm sorry, but the last round, John weren't active enough for me. You know what I mean? Like he just weren't. And the same as Brandon Lewis in the first fight that Aussie had, he weren't active enough. You know. And then I'm watching an IBF European title, and then I'm looking Gary Lockett, a legend of a trainer, telling Ben, stay active, push your punches out, just push, because the more you punch, the more you're active. You know, the judges like it, and it worked for him. You know, and that's what it is, just being active. And Ozzy just gives it his all, tries his hardest, comes through, and I'm proud of him. I'm really proud of him because he gave me a lot. You know, he's put a lot on the line. Like he's had some very tough fights on my shows, and he's never turned them down. And from show one, he had Ray Bear, who was 2-0. You know, they were both, I think, they're 2-0 and 3-0. Everyone's like, "How are you doing this? How'd you get this managed?" 4-round war. It was absolute war, and everyone said that's the best small hall show that they see. When that was the statement. And now look what he's done on this one, the statement too. He's come out and he's had another great war, and I think he will go down as a legend in the Essex boxing scene. See you later.
Which is no mean feat, given the great tradition this county's got. Could Lee get him something big? I mean, if there's some hotshot prospect, for example, that they need a real test. I mean, Aussie will give him one.
Yeah, the thing is with Oz is 3 3-minute rounds is perfect for him. You know, like so it's how you go from that to winning a southern area. You know, because he lost out in the southern area. Like, listen, I think there's a bit of a food issue when he lost it. Like he didn't. His food was repeating on him, burping and that, and he got stopped with a shot to the stomach. So I don't know if his opponent could tell that, but you know, maybe there were the small changes, and maybe a nutritionist, because where he's just raw, old school grafter. I just come, I do the weight, I do the training, I eat what I want, but I make sure I'm on weight. You know, like maybe if you had a nutritionist, that might help with that side of it. But what would it take? Like for me, I'd put him against anyone in the freeze. But I think maybe the 8 to 10s is where he's got to improve on working his way through a fight. You know, yeah, that's what I'd say.
All right. Well, let's hope something big comes from it. Well deserved. And what about the headliner? There weren't the conclusive knockout that Ben thought he'd get, but I guess mature performance got the job done. And I don't know about you, I found the Welsh fans, the song at the end, it was really moving. I think, wow, if they can do that on a long trip from Wales when there's a storm and it's coming up to Christmas, he'd put on a good show in Swansea, wouldn't he?
Yeah, that's the aim. You know, we've had discussions of it, had a few venues looked at. You know, we didn't know where it was going to be, who was going to win. It was that good of a fight, so it looks like we'll have to go up there. You know what I mean, and give him a little show. But it's hard. You know what I mean. Like, had 6 fights, 6 shows this year already now. So we'll see what happens. But listen, he deserves a local fight for him. I know he does well in tickets in his hometown. I've seen the videos, you know, and I'm really proud to be part of his story, and to meet legends like Gary Lockett as well. And Gary give you that respect, that what you've done here is amazing, these are amazing, blah blah blah. Listen, it weren't packed in here tonight like it normally is. It was like dribs and drabs, I felt. Normally it's packed from like, well, not packed, how many people were at the end? They're normally here from like the first bell. There's big queues and that, but I think because of the storm, GBM said the storm was coming, they weren't bloody lying, were they? Right? And I think it just slowed down who turned up. Well, obviously it didn't affect the ticket sales, but it was more in the attendance. And yeah, it was that put a down on it for me. When I turned around, I see like a lot of empty spaces, but then when the tournament come on, I looked around, it was packed, and I thought, oh, that's all right.
All right, fantastic night. What's coming up in 2025? We know Tom's got that big step up. How'd that work out for February? Because he's with Wasserman. Are they loaning him out to you?
Yeah, to be fair, like I got a phone call from Lee, and as I always do, last minute, and he was like, who's on your show in February? I said, listen, I've probably got one space. I said, but who's it for? Because it's in Brentwood Centre, there's certain boxers who can't be on the show. And then he was like, Tom Welland. I said, yeah, there's a space for him. And I said, I've got an opponent as well. You know, like, because Dan, my matchmaker's got obviously Michael, and I was like, listen, I want this fight. Are you happy with it? He went, speak to the matchmaker from Wasserman and go from there. I sent him it. He said, I think that's perfect. I said, thank you. I said, I think it's a good fight. 2 reasons is ex-champion, you know, a little bit older, and Tom needs to do media work. You know, he's been on Wasserman, but he's never had head-to-heads, never done media. He's just had like interviews like yourself, or like maybe talking on a mic at a press conference. But he's never had to do a little bit like Aggie head-to-heads or anything like that. So someone from a massive show like Wasserman has dropped down to a little Johnny Clark show, and what he's got to do is now do all the media and then go up to them, and he's a bit more trained, isn't he? He's had a bit of a better test. All his opponents are always foreigners that they've had to fly over and cost loads of money. So managed to lock someone in the UK, and he didn't cost us an arm and a leg, and he's coming to win. You know, his record's 50-50, and he's lost his last 4. But listen, a man is a man, and then they said if you're co-main event, you're here to win. You're not playing the game.
Yeah, Michael Rambolet, he's a serious challenge for Tom at this point of his career, so that's fascinating. I know you've always said you want to make Brentwood your home, but you teased a possible Kent show. All my colleagues from Medway are sort of excited. You know, it's a boxing hotbed like Essex, but they don't get shows there. Can you tell us any more?
The meeting hopefully is next week. I told him, chill. Let me get this show out of the way, then we'll start all the talks. There's a show at York Hall in March as well. You know, I said that this will be my home, but there's certain boxers that can't box in Essex or box in this venue. They need to be in other venues. So, yeah, mainly because the trouble that comes here sometimes. You've got to keep people separate and whatnot. So I wanted to do like a smaller scale show. It won't be all like it is here and somewhere else. So I'm going to go York Hall, keep it nice, a bit calmer on the money spending, on the money up front and that, you know, and let the show cover itself, build people's careers there, and then come back here with the winners and they can fight each other.
I like it. Okay.
No, the Kent show. Yeah, sorry, the Kent show, end of July, if it happens, end of July. Last little talks about it, it's just about the money, you know what I mean? The money to set up the ring, the canopy above the ring, obviously it all costs a lot of money covering the football pitch. Them kind of things, we've got to do the maths, the numbers. But I do believe that the Kent boxers can set it out, you know, because all the boxers that I've listed, if they do like 300 tickets like they say they can, and there's 10 fights, 3,000, it holds 5,000 to 6,000. The football club itself can sell 1,500. So I think it could work really, really well, if I'm being honest.
Yeah, about time Kent got an opportunity to showcase all their talent. So yeah, hope you can pull that off. All right, is there anything else you need to tell us?
I need to go to bed. That's it, man. Just ready for bed. Ready to... Listen, my phone will be crazy tonight because all the messages and whatnot, you know, and then you wake up in the morning, it dies down a bit. And then like it's like the flu hits you or something, you know, like all the stress and anxiety and everything you go through, and then you leave it. I look like we're going to have to go anyway.
The canopy's coming down. Johnny, always a pleasure. Have a good Christmas and New Year. We'll see you in 2025.